Hey, happy day after the holiday, day after Christmas, day after my birthday. And of course, I know a lot of you are in the midst of your holiday, and so that's pretty awesome that you took time out to watch this today. Or perhaps you will go back and watch this later, which is cool. I hope you do that. I'm checking all of my stuff here, just make sure that I am live, and there I am. Okay, so I'm good. So today is the last Thursday 30 of 2019. And I'm super excited because I'm going to talk to you today about all the stuff that worked. Now, I said in my little blurb, I'm going to talk about 3 things that worked and 3 things that I'm going to do in 2020. And honestly, I get a little wordy, and so I will probably talk more than just about those 3 things. And so, where shall I begin? I don't know. I think one of the first things that I think about when what really, really worked for me in my counseling practice. So I own a marriage and family therapy practice called achievebalance.org, and it's located in the Woodlands, Texas. And I work with marriages and families. I specialize in couples who are surviving infidelity as well as expat couples. And hey, Jessica, glad to have you. And I work with couples who have a member who is addicted, and family members who have maybe a older teen or young 20 struggling to launch. So that's sort of my happy place, my niche where I'm happy working. Of course, I also see individuals, but and the thing is, once you sit down and you do these 3 things, the first thing I would say, if you have not done this yet, and I know I have a ton of interns who are going to be watching this video today, and it almost seems counterintuitive, but to sit down and think about your ideal client. And I mean, do this in detail. And I promise I'm going to tell you why in a second. But when you think about this ideal client, you're going to talk about where she drinks her coffee, where she works out, who her friends are, and where her kids go to school. If you're talking about, and you'll do this for both. So for your male ideal client, where does he go to get his hair cut? Where does he meet with his buddies to have coffee on Saturday morning? Where does he go to church? Does he go to church? Does he go to temple? Are these, so as you start to identify where they take their dog to get groomed, do they have pets? And you're going to literally sit down and write a paragraph about your ideal client. Hey, Penny. And you can Google this. You can actually find templates, and I bet there are even some business owners in our Badass Business group who would be happy to loan us this template. And just do this ideal client exercise. So here's why. Hey, Tammy, thanks for joining. Google loves when you are focused, okay? And we aren't salesmen. We are not, hawking our wares. We are not trying to have the biggest billboard on the freeway. Hey, Michael, glad you're here. And Elizabeth, good to see you. So when you think about your ideal client, what you're really doing is you're coming up with search terms. Search terms, right? So keyword search terms. And if you're not sure what that is, go to the Google machine, put in keyword search, how to find the best keywords. And Google has tons and tons of tools that you can use to find keywords. Now, once you figure out your ideal client, hey Sol Hell, thanks for watching today. Now you can start thinking about your blogs. So this is one of those spots where I'm kind of deviate a little bit because I didn't do this last year, but I did this 3 years ago. I wrote a series of blogs about things that people search for when they're looking for a counselor. Hey Deanne, thanks for joining. So I wrote a blog about what is forgiveness. I wrote a blog about what are boundaries. I wrote a blog about surviving infidelity. So each one of these blogs was 300 to 600 words long, but it was full of keywords. And these blogs were specific, measurable, attainable, trackable things. And so I used a lot of metaphor, like my boundaries blog on achievebalance.org on my Achieve Balance website. It talks about, trying to keep your neighbor's cows out of your yard with a fence. And when I had people find me, they were referring to my blogs. Now, there's also a way that you can make these blogs go to different places. You can have them go to your social media. You can have them go to your LinkedIn profile. And so search terms leading back, those are inbound links to your website, right? That's what we want. You've got to be searchable in your town. And so remember, here are the steps, right? The steps that you're going to do is you're going to write your paragraph about your ideal client in excruciating detail. Then you're going to go to Google and figure out what search terms are people using in your area. And then you're going, and this is the 2020 thing, you're going to start blogging. Now, blogging, and this is going to one of the things I'm so proud of that I did in 2019. Blogging can seem overwhelming, right? But if you sit down, and you can see I've actually done this, I've started my map for next year. You sit and you write down a theme for each month. You know, you don't have to write a ton of blogs. I mean, some of us are awesome writers and we love to write. But if you don't enjoy writing, then just plan on writing 12. Write 12 blogs. Write a paragraph every day, and once a month you put all those paragraphs together. You put it on your website. But the key is, so if you do a January New Year, New You blog, what does that mean? What would it mean? Is that someone getting healthier? Is that someone eating better? Is that someone learning, how to count all their blessings at the end of the day, having a thankfulness journal in the morning? I mean, as counselors, we have tons of ways to help our clients in this sort of January, New Year, New You. And so writing about that, I learned this in high school. It's the 5-paragraph essay. First paragraph and last paragraph are basically the same, right? You tell people what they're about to read. And then at the last paragraph, you tell them what they just read. And then you have 3 paragraphs telling them 3 bullet points that you want them to know. So if you have the 5-paragraph essay that I learned from Mr. Verlinde in high school, you will have an amazing blog. So put that together. That's your 2020 goal. Blog using keyword-rich stuff based on the client that you want to see. All right. So another thing that I'm really proud of that I did in 2019, so I talked about the social media calendar. The social media calendar took such a weight off of me because it put me about 3 months ahead at all times. So like right now in January, I'm thinking about March and April, what to put into my social media. The blog related to the ideal client. Sorry, I'm going to put the sound off on my computer. Blogs related to my ideal client. Now, here's the other thing, and I do this every year. Hey, Laura, so glad you're watching. I start with a financial goal. Now, if you watched my Facebook Live last week or the week before, I talked about sort of thinking of your Mondays, your Tuesdays, your Wednesdays as a hotel, right? Every day is a hotel with 24 rooms. And your goal is to get as many of those rooms working as you possibly can. Hey, Terry, glad you're here. And so when you think about, all right, I can work maybe 20 direct hours each week, right? That's approximately 80 direct hours each month. And then you have this big financial goal. Now, the financial goal isn't necessarily a Maserati in your garage. I mean, if it is, awesome, good on you. Can't wait to see it. Tell me what color it was. But your financial goal will be based on your mortgage or your rent, your bills. If you have dependents, how much are you giving them each month? So you've got this monthly budget, right? And so what you have going out is going to determine what you need coming in. And then over that, that's going to become your investment income. So whether you decide to invest in a retirement fund or you want to go buy a commercial building and rent it out, that's after you pay your bills. Well, it's not a mystery. It's a number. So if you decide that $60,000 a year will pay your bills and then give you some extra to invest, pay off debt, make sure you're getting ahead, well, take that number, 60,000, divided by 12 months. Somebody do the math for me. What is that? $5,000 a month, right? Divide that by 80. That's how much you need to be charging each hour that you're working. If you're not making that amount, you either need to work more hours, right? Sell more rooms in your hotel, raise your rate, $10, $20, right? Maybe get off 2 or 3 insurance panels. So as you're making your goals for 2020, start with a number. And don't be afraid. I mean, what the heck? Sky's the limit. Said put 100,000, put down a 6-figure number and say, this is the number I've got to make in 2020. Subtract your bills, take the number, divide it by the number of direct hours you are willing to work each week, and watch how those hours will fill, all right? Hey, Nikesha, thanks for watching. There's something interesting about the universe, right? When you put a number out there and you say, okay, you know what? I've got to work 80 hours this month. And then you make that time available, you watch how it fills, especially if you're doing these other things. You're blogging, you're making sure you're making those blogs keyword rich. You're not having 50 different types of ideal clients. You're narrowing your focus down to a different types of specific clients who can come to see you. All right, so recap. Financial goals, start with a number, social media calendar, and write your blogs that are keyword rich. Oh, thanks for the shout out, Jessica. Yep, I've still got shirts for sale. Remember, all of this stuff is to keep you from going broke, burning out, getting in trouble, because you are too important to your community to quit or to lose to things like that, right? Every time we go into business, we're making ourselves important in our community. Our community starts to rely on us. You get phone calls from people who need you. So if you're not a good business owner and you go out of business, you're not helping anybody, right? So that's why we have our cool hashtag, right? Hashtag counselors don't quit. See, I don't sound like I'm 53. I sound like I'm super cool, and I know what hashtags are. Not really sure if I do. So, Linda, it says, it's a hashtag. It says counselors don't quit. And on the back, it says, I am a counselor. I know the law. I won't go broke. I won't burn out. I won't give up. And we put it on the back so people standing behind you in Starbucks can read it while they're waiting on their coffee. So get a shirt today. All right, some other amazing things that I'm happy about and I'm proud of that I did in 2019 are these whiteboards. You know what? It took me a while. See, they line the entire wall. But I finally figured out that, you know what? I'm a little ADD. And my family is all nodding their head right now. They know. And when I put it in front of me, then I can erase it. I can put a different color marker. I can manipulate it. So I took a bedroom in our house because our kids are slowly going away. They're launching, yay. And I can afford to do that. Before I had this bedroom, I took a corner of our living room and I just put a table in the corner and I would wear these headphones that my husband uses to shoot guns and they block out all the noise. And I could literally sit in my bedroom, in the living room while my kids are watching TV and have these headphones on. So remember, one of the things I talked about a while ago was carving out a beautiful space. Well, sometimes that beautiful space is your table facing a wall with an inspirational poster and you've got your headphones on and you're making the world a better place. So whiteboards. The other thing that I'm happy about is something called Trello. Trello. I think it's a .com. Let me make sure. Yeah, Trello.com. The free version is awesome. I think I pay a little bit more just so I can have some cool backgrounds. And it keeps me organized. I have a Trello board for my yearly goals. And I have a Trello board for just my weekly, gotta get it done. I have a Trello board for all of my subscriptions, things that renew once a year that I don't want to forget. So every month I take and I move it, and then I have February. Oh, look, I've got to renew my Texas Counseling Association membership. Oh, look, my license needs to be renewed. Because when you own a business, you forget the small stuff. And all of these little sheets of paper we have everywhere, that's not good for this brain. So Trello, I love, love, love Trello. Phone scripts, we've talked about that before. Getting specific about what your clients can get from you when you do your 30-second elevator speech. I'm not going to go over that today. I think that was a couple of Facebook Lives ago when we talked about how to help clients understand what they'll be getting from you. So if you haven't done that yet, put it on your 2020 goal list. All right, so for me, here's I'm all my whiteboards, all the stuff that's in my head, my Trello board, my big goals for 2020. Number one, I'm going to start blogging more on Kate Walker Training. And I'm going to do the same thing that I'm telling you. Now, I have some blogs already. And so I'm going to be doing some SEO research. I'm going to go back through. I also use something called Google AdWords. And I'm going to go through that and see which search terms people are using the most. Then I'm going to go back through my blogs, not all of them, but probably the last 10. And I'm going to enrich those blogs with keywords. And I'm going to make sure I have a program in there called Yoast. Starts with a Y, Y-O-A-S-T as in Thomas, Yoast. And it works with my WordPress site to help me make sure that everything that I put up is optimized for keywords. So SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization, the Google machine will find me, and that's the most important thing for us, right? I don't want anybody out there spending money on flyers, door hangers, or the backs of t-shirts that are going to be shot out of cannons at high school football games. No, don't do that, right? Don't spend money on coffee mugs for your clients, pens, no. You want to hear something really awesome? I don't know who's going to want to do this, but if you nail this blogging thing, you know what you're going to have at the end of 2020? You're going to have a book. That's right, you're going to have a book. You can self-publish a book just by gathering all of your blogs. Each month is a chapter. You put that puppy together, send it off to get it optimized for a Kindle. I use Fiverr. Some of you probably use other things. Fiverr starts with a F-I, V as in Victor, E-R-R. And you can hire someone to optimize your work for Kindle, right? And so for any kind of an e-publishing format, or just turn it into a PDF, put it on your website and sell it. So all of those things can become your book. So SEO, regular blog. The other thing I'm going to be working on in 2020 is more of a presence in video, YouTube, and podcasting. I can't believe I said that out loud. Yes, I think I'm going to be podcasting this year. I have some ideas. I've got some great people who have dropped me little lines and ideas, and I think I'm going to follow up on that. I don't have the equipment that I need yet, so I get to procrastinate a little bit longer. But I have some really, really great ideas, especially for helping interns figure out how to, make the most of their supervision, help supervisors make the most of their time with their interns. There's so much that's going to be happening in the next few years in the Texas legislation. We may see interns actually turning into associates. We may see some lifting of some regulations. I don't know. I'm not on the board. But I am really excited because I think that our interns and associates are going to find ways to make a better living than they can right now. So anything to help folks in our business, in the mental health business, I don't care what your license is, right? LPC, LMFT, social work, psychology, LCDC, or if you're in another state, anything that you need make sure you stay in business. Hey, Karen, good to think. Yeah, well, we all got great ideas, right? And we all got into this business because we had a story, right? We all had something that brought us into this business, right? Usually it's a great counselor. We needed counseling. We had something. And so great stories start us. But y'all, it's the good habits and the discipline that are going to help you sustain your businesses. And that's what I'm here for. I want to help you guys develop some good habits. So yeah, those are my ideas for 2020. I'm optimizing my blogs. I'm going to try to do a regular blog. I'd like to have more of a video presence or a podcasting presence. I've got a couple of new courses coming out. My supervisor instructor course is coming back. I know a lot of you were asking me about that. So that if you ever had the itch to provide a 40-hour training, a live 40-hour training, but you didn't know how, or you weren't sure if your material was up to date, this course is for you. We're going to make it something to where you can access the materials, keep those updated at all times. If you're an intern or someone who's just kind of thinking about making the leap to private practice, we're coming up with a great course for you to, again, just keep all that material up to date. Make sure you have up-to-the-minute resources. FYI, I will be at the first ever intern summit in Austin, Texas, January the 25th. And I'm working with the amazing Summer Allen. She is head of the Texas LPC Intern Association, and she is hosting this summit for interns to come and learn and get exposed to some great ideas and great research. I'm going to be helping her with something called Supervisor Connect. And so if you're in the Austin area and you're going to be there on January 25th, don't know quite what it's going to look like yet, but we're going to try to have amazing supervisors available so the interns at this inaugural summit can come and ask questions and get to know supervisors, maybe even hire a supervisor. Elizabeth Smith says she's thinking about going. It's a great opportunity. I'm not sure how many spots are left. I really don't know. I was going to try to have it up on my computer. But if you're thinking about going, man, you better get on there quickly. It's the Texas LPC Intern Association, Summer Allen. Thanks, Brandy. I'm glad you like the shirt. To wrap up, let me see, what else can I tell you guys about? If you have any questions, don't forget, post them in the Badass Business Group. We have over 300 people in the Badass Business Group, and we are growing all the time. I'm on there. I'm always moderating. I'm trying to make sure that questions get answered. There's no such thing as a silly question, and maybe that's your goal for 2020, is to get out there and ask good questions and get great answers, right? Remember, you're too important to lose. So 2020, don't forget, we are going to backwards plan your badass business goals. Doesn't matter what your goal is. Just think of it, dream it, but you got to write it down or it doesn't exist. We are going to break down barriers. So whatever it is that you have going on that seems to be a barrier to your success, whether it's ADD or organization or clutter, or you don't have a beautiful spot to really sit and focus, we're breaking all that down. There is no reason that you should have anything keeping you from being successful, okay? So I know you can't read that because it's all backwards, but you're too important to go broke, to get in trouble, and to burn out, all right? We need you. The communities need you. My cool hashtag, counselors don't quit. We can't quit, right? Our communities need us. If you're in this, stay in this. Get in this. You're in it to win it. You're in it to make a living. Don't get into it 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Make your business badass. You can do it. All right, guys, it is 9:54, and I have a client at 10. Time to go make some money. You go do the same thing.